Oscar Guy here. Welcome, one and all, to the very first Oscar predictions video of the 2024-2025 season. It's October. I didn't do my predictions in August. I technically did, but I never published them. I never did any videos on them because the festivals started happening and things were changing literally every day. So now that the festivals have happened for the most part, NIF is going on right now, New York Film Festival. Other than that, pretty much we know a lot of things now, outside of a couple things that we'll probably get into. This is it. These are my Oscar predictions for October of 2024. And you may have noticed that you're not looking at a spreadsheet anymore. You're looking at my website, actually. This is my predictions landing page, where I will select this little drop-down doohickey right here. And we're going to select it category by category, and we're going to dig into my Oscar predictions that way instead of looking at a spreadsheet. And you're welcome for that. This is fine for me as well. I just wanted to try something a little different, a little more clean, a little more first party. Ladies and gentlemen, we might as well just dive in. Here we go, starting with Best Picture. Here we go. So Best Picture, if we scroll down here, my 10 are as follows. Anora at number 1, The Brutalist at number 2, number 3, Emilia Perez, number 4, Dune Part 2, number 5, Sing Sing, I still got it in, number 6, Conclave, number 7, Nickel Boys, number 8, Blitz, number 9, Gladiator 2, and number 10, A Real Pain. Definitely have shifted some things since August, but what remains to be at the top is Anora and The Brutalist, going head-to-head for number 1 for Best Picture. For right now, I have Anora at number 1 just because it placed at TIFF. Even the few screenings that it had at TIFF, it's still placed. I think it was the second runner-up underneath Emilia Perez and Life of Chuck, and of course the Life of Chuck is being pushed to next year, and that's why you won't be seeing it by Chuck. Anora is at number 1, so I've heard incredible things about it. It won the Palme d'Or pretty much since the Parasite year in 2019. It has gone pretty hand in hand with Best Picture as of late, so that's a pretty big stat nowadays. And Anora, from what I've heard, there's nothing but praise for it. It's a romp. It's funny. It's very extremely well acted, well directed, well paced, well edited. And it has kind of an emotional gut punch at the end. So, but there's some people out there that are saying that it doesn't feel like a Best Picture winner. Well, neither did Coda. That did not feel like a Best Picture winner at all, and yet that had a narrative, and that got all the way to its Best Picture win. And of course, that was the year of Power of the Dog and Belfast, and it was kind of a post-COVID year. So, there are those factors that are involved there. But I think Anora has what it takes. I think it could take screenplay easily. It could take director. It could easily take Best Actress for Mikey Madison, and we'll get to all those categories. Not too much of a tech player. It'll probably be just an above-the-line contender. But I think that'll be enough, and maybe it'll sneak in an editing nomination, or I don't know if it'll win, but at least screenplay, maybe a directing nomination and an acting nomination or win. Any combination of that package is enough for Anora to win Best Picture. But right beneath that is The Brutalist, and I think Brutalist is not only a above-the-line contender, it's also a below-the-line contender as well. The Brutalist is much longer. It's more of an epic, more of a classic American epic, 3.5 hours long with intermission, being declared as a masterpiece. Is it a Best Picture winning film, though, in the year of our Lord 2024? It could be. That's why I have it at number 2. I think for the rest of the year, it could be neck and neck between Anora and The Brutalist, but for right now, I have it at number 2. Brutalist could also very well take director. It probably will take Best Actor for Adrian Brody. Again, we'll get to that. Guy Pearce, supporting actor. Felicity Jones, supporting actress. Screenplay, editing, cinematography. It's going to crush it. Should crush it. A24 is having a select release schedule for the end of December, and hopefully that will be enough for it to have a showing with the public, and the word will catch on. I mean, I think the word has already caught on for it. People are just saying it's incredible, and it's really a movie that we really don't deserve, how good it is. It kind of came out of left field, and I love it, and it's one of my most anticipated, if not my most anticipated film of the year. Can't wait to see it, and this could very well be number one, but Anora I just have at number one just because that feels, to me, it feels more of a Best Picture winner. Something that Oscar voters in particular could more go for. Number three is Emilia Perez, which also placed at TIFF. It actually got the first runner-up above Anora. Emilia Perez has a lot of lovers. A lot of people love this movie. There are some people out there who aren't really into it and think it does a lot. It does a little too much and doesn't pull everything off very cohesively, I guess. But it is a crowd pleaser. It tells a great story. It is ambitious. It's very well acted. It also performed very well at the Cannes Film Festival. And it placed at TIFF. Like, what more do you want? Like, it's going to be an Oscars player. It's going to be nominated, if not win International Feature. It was submitted by France. Carlos Sofia Gascon has a great narrative as being possibly the first trans woman to be nominated in the Best Actress category. That'll be huge. Screenplay, maybe sound. It's going to show up. It will show up. So I actually have that at number 3. I just feel like that has a lot of potential. Number 4 is Dune Part 2. That went gangbusters earlier this year. It was going to release last year, but due to the strikes, it was released earlier this year. There's really no reason for it not to be nominated since the first one was nominated for Best Picture. It swept all the tech categories. Dune Part 2 is even better, even bigger, grander, even more of a tech giant, so I don't really see how this would miss. It'll get into picture. I hope Denis Villeneuve gets nominated for director this time. Probably will. It'll probably sweep most of the techs. Gladiator 2 is kind of giving it a run for its money from what I hear. But in any case, I think it's going to be in the conversation. Definitely solidified in the top 5 for me. Sing Sing is at number 5. It was at number 1 because I'm losing a little bit of faith in Sing Sing. Now that A24 has acquired The Brutalist and Sing Sing didn't do too well in the box office, I'm a little concerned for it. I feel like the flame for it is dying. It kind of performed the same level as Past Lives, but Past Lives last year did go on to get nominated for Picture and Screenplay, which it should have been nominated for more, if I'm going to be honest. But Sing Sing, at the end of the day, maybe it could get a package like that. Maybe Coleman Domingo could get into Best Actor. I think he is probably one of the front runners still. It'll be a shock to me if he misses, but I don't know. Sing Sing is kind of hanging on a thread, and I know they're trying to still campaign it a little bit, but I just need to see it perform at some precursors now. It's been out for a while, and it had a very slow, trickled out release. It was, I don't know, I'm feeling weird about it, but I have it in the top 5 anyway. Conclave, I hear, is great. I've heard it's not amazing, but I hear it's good enough to get a Best Picture nomination, maybe a Best Screenplay nomination, or win. Best Actor for Ralph Fiennes, easy. A lot of the supporting players like Stanley Tucci and John Lithgow and Isabella Rossellini aren't really doing enough for them to get nominated, but it could very well get nominated for SAG Ensemble, which has a great correlation to Best Picture, as we all know. Conclave could perform pretty well. Edward Burker could maybe sneak into director. Best Original Score could very well happen. Best Editing, Cinematography, I hear that it looks incredible. Could be a tech player and a couple above the line, so I have that in as well. Number 7 is Nickel Boys, which I hear is more of an experimental avant-garde type of adaptation of a Pulitzer Prize winning novel. I hear it might be good enough to get a Best Picture nomination, but it could be a little too out there for the Academy. But then again, Zone of Interest happened last year. I know that is a much different, the subject of that film is much different, and that had its own narrative. But I think the Academy voters have kind of opened their minds a little bit, and I think they could embrace something like this. I have it in for now. I think Ramel Ross could sneak into director, because that feels like a very director's branchy type pick. So it's got that going for it. Anjanou Ellis-Taylor could, sneak into best supporting actress, best editing, best cinematography, best sound, best score. It could be this year's Zone of Interest. It'll just sneak in and it'll be there, and who knows? Maybe it'll win, do a surprise win in a tech or two. Blitz, we don't know a lot about Blitz. That has been... we don't know a whole lot about it. There is a trailer that came out, and it looks very technically impressive, for sure. Steve McQueen directed it. Of course, he directed 12 Years a Slave, and he's a great director. He's done a lot of things. Saoirse Ronan's in it. It looks a little Oscar baity, but I think I kind of want to see how it plays. I haven't heard any really reception on it really at all, but from what it looks like, from what the trailer is bringing me, it has potential. I'm not like completely sold on it, but I have it near the bottom of the list here. I have it in McQueen and director, Saoirse Ronan supporting actress, and maybe some text, cinematography, production design, costume design. It is a period film, so I got Blitz in. I'm gonna be seeing it soon. Actually, I'm gonna be seeing some of these films at the Philly Film Festival pretty soon, so looking forward to that. By the end of the month, we will probably know more about Blitz. Gladiator 2 I have in. At first, I was a little skeptical about Gladiator 2. Ridley Scott's track record as of late hasn't been wonderful. I know The Last Duel was really good, but that bombed at the box office. Napoleon last year was like kind of mixed. We all know about House of Gucci. I mean, say no more. His track record has been a little shoddy. But from what not only Ridley Scott himself has said, but from what other people have been saying, this is perhaps his best film since his golden days. That's saying a lot. That is a lot. That is a powerful statement. People are calling it the real deal. So whatever that means, it could be something big. I mean, the budget on this bad boy is huge. It's got to make some money. I've heard great things about Paul Mescal in it, and Denzel Washington, and Pedro Pascal. I hear the cast is great. The trailers didn't really completely sell me, but at least for production design, it looks like an easy production design player, costume design, cinematography, editing. I mean, it'll be a tech giant alongside Dune Part 2. So perhaps this and Dune could trade off tech Oscars here. But I've heard through the grapevine that Gladiator 2 might perform very well, so I have that in. And last but not least, at number 10, this is kind of a shaky spot. You could put a good number of films in this 10th spot. But for right now, I have A Real Pain. I have a good feeling about A Real Pain. It's been getting some good buzz coming out of Telluride Film Festival, and it's kind of making its rounds at some other minor film festivals. Jesse Eisenberg and Kieran Culkin are really pushing it. They're campaigning it kind of into the ground, and Kieran Culkin in particular is getting a lot of buzz surrounding his great performance. I don't know. Maybe you picture screenplay, supporting actor package. That's enough. That's enough. Definitely enough of a package. I haven't heard too many things about Jesse Eisenberg's performance and the Oscar buzz in regards to that, but I feel like this is more of a Kieran Culkin-led vehicle. But I hear the screenplay is very good, so maybe Jesse Eisenberg can get his first writing Oscar nomination for Real Pain. So I got that in for now. So that's my 10. And if we go down to Under the Line, what's missing? But we have to take these films into account. This guy, I'm keeping an eye on this guy. September 5th, what is it? What is it? I mean, look, it premiered at Venice. People liked it. It played at Telluride very well. There's some inside knowledge and inside speculation that September 5th September 5. I don't know what it is. September 5th. Let's just call it that. This could be a sneak attack Oscar contender. This could kind of be a last minute surge, kind of like coming out of nowhere a little bit. Very little known director. The cast, it's got Peter Sarsgaard, John Magaro, the woman from the Teacher's Lounge from last year. Not A-list people. This seems to be a film that's kind of in the same line as Spotlight and All the President's Men and these newsroom journalism dramas, journalism thriller that seem to perform well with Academy voters. Spotlight won Best Picture. That was 10 years ago, albeit, but I don't know. I'm gonna keep it right under the cusp for right now until we get that letterboxd curve, until we get some critics' reviews, until we get more of a buzz going for it. Outside of some just very early speculation. It is going to be premiering at, not really premiering, but it's going to be showing at the Philly Film Festival. I won't be seeing it, but it is making its rounds in these festivals, in the festival circuit, so we're just going to have to see how it performs. Saturday Night, I have at number 12. It used to be in my top 10, and I hear it's really good. I hear people really enjoy it. It's kind of, a good crowd-pleasing type of film, very energetic, and good writing, good ensemble acting, great ensemble acting. But I've heard its Best Picture potential is a little, skeptical, muted for whatever reason. It doesn't seem like a Best Picture type film. Plus, statistically, it's not performing as well as it should to try and secure that nomination. It didn't even place at TIFF, which was a shock to me because I was expecting it to not only place but win TIFF, but it blanked, and it showed a bunch of times too. I don't know what happened there, but that is kind of a blow for Saturday Night. Not to say that it's dead or anything, but I'm a little bit concerned. Maybe it'll perform well with precursors and then maybe die off, or maybe it'll be the other way around. I doubt it'll be the other way around. I feel like it needs something going into the season, to actually have, something going for it. I don't know. I have it at number 12 for now, but whatever. I digress. At number 13, I have the Seat of the Sacred Fig. That was at number 10 just because, for every year for the past, I don't know how many years, several years, there's always have been one international feature pick in the Best Picture 10. I was kind of wrestling between Amelia Perez and the Seat of the Sacred Fig. And Amelia Perez obviously is the one that has been performing much better. Seat of the Sacred Fig has a narrative going for it with the director, Mohamed Russolov. Not everybody knows about that narrative. If you guys don't know, the director is from Iran, and he made this film in retaliation to the Iranian government. Very long story short, the Iranian government ain't cool about that stuff. So much so that Russolov is wanted, and he is in hiding. He fled his country because of it, and that's insane. He showed up at the Cannes Film Festival, and he received a rapturous standing ovation for this film, and even received a special award from the jury. That's the narrative we're talking about here. I believe Neon has it, and Neon usually likes to campaign Oscar players, for sure. I'm not sure how the campaign is going to go for this. I know it was submitted by Germany for international feature, so if it's not nominated for international feature, I will be shocked. But outside of that, I don't think there's any Best Picture potential. I just don't really see it happening. But I have it here, just in case. The Apprentice is kind of a wild card right now because, of course, that film is about, the one and only Donald Trump. It is a biopic that is kind of a scathing critique on the man and his upbringing. I think this really all comes down to the election in November and how that's going to play out. And the awards campaign surrounding this film is pretty much hanging on that thread. So if there's any film here that I will say we'll have to wait and see, it's this one. So that's at number 14. I don't really know what else to say. We're just going to have to see how the next month plays out. So that is there. A Complete Unknown is also here, the Bob Dylan biopic starring Timothée Chalamet. We won't really know about, the quality of this film until, I guess, Christmas time when it does come out. I've heard from test screenings that it's serviceable. It's not, like, amazing, but it's pretty good. And I hear Timmy does a great job. I hear Edward Norton really knocks it out of the park. I have it here. I don't really have a lot of confidence that it will break into picture, but perhaps in some above-line categories and maybe like best sound or something like that. But that's here. Number 16, Juror Number 2. This is a new addition. Challenger approaches. Clint Eastwood being the challenger, the 94-year-old challenger. How does he do it? How does he direct movies? Still, it's incredible. Incredibly commendable. This could very well be his last film, and he is Clint Eastwood. He is one of the largest Hollywood figures of all time. He's going to go out with this one, most likely. And I've seen the trailer, and it looks pretty good. I feel like it might have some potential. We'll see how it does. I'm going to keep my eye on it. It could pull off an American Gladiator. American Sniper. That's it. It could pull off an American Sniper. It could be The Mule. I don't know. I got it here. Let's move on. Number 17, Room Next Door. The Pedro Almodovar Golden Lion winner. I gotta have that here just in case, but I don't really see it happening. I hear it's kind of mid Almodovar. I've heard it's pretty good. It doesn't work for absolutely everybody, but I hear it's, commendable. So I have that here. It's at the bottom for a reason. Let's just say that. But I want to see it. I love Tilda Swinton. I love Julianne Moore, but I just hear it needs more. It needs more for me to put it higher. That's Best Picture, ladies and gentlemen. Let's move on. All right, next up is Best Director. At number one and number 2, we have a battle going on. We have Sir Sean Baker, director of Anora, and Mr. Brady Corbett, director of The Brutalist, going head-to-head for 1 and 2, respectively. A lot of people are saying that Brady Corbett's got this in the bag. I hear The Brutalist is an immaculately directed masterwork of cinematic achievement. I think it was shot on 35 millimeter or 70 millimeter or something like that. It's a 3.5 hour film, shot on film, and the budget was apparently like between $6 and $10 million. How do you do it? So I think he should get a Best Director prize just because of that. Really, the only reason I have Sean Baker at 1 is because I have Anora winning Best Picture, number 1. And number 2, I feel like Sean Baker is more of a recognizable name in Hollywood. He has kind of a bigger track record that we know of, with Tangerine, with The Florida Project, with Red Rocket. He's got a distinct style. He's been around. He's been around the block a little bit more than Brady Corbett. Brady Corbett, he has a couple films under his belt, but they're not really talked really at all that much comparatively to Sean Baker's filmography. So that is really the only reason I have Baker at 1, Corbett at number 2. But it could be flip-flopped very easily. You could make the case for both of them. But for right now, I have Baker at 1, Corbett at number 2. They're both the Best Picture frontrunners. Director and picture correlation, very strong. Number 3, I have Denis Villeneuve for Dune Part 2. Let Us Pray. Denis, you need to get avenged for what they did to you in 2021 or 2022. Look at it. No, Academy, don't do that. No more. He needs this one. Who can direct Dune? Him. And David Lynch, I guess. Easily one of the greatest directorial achievements this year. Easily. It just will not make sense if he misses for both Dune 1 and Dune Part 2. It's not going to make any sense. Please give it to him. Just a nomination. He doesn't need to win. Just a nomination. Just recognize his achievement. Do it. Number 4, I have Steve McQueen for Blitz. Seems right. You could put Jacques Audiard in his place. You could put maybe Ridley Scott in his place, or Edward Berger. I have a feeling that he might return to the Oscars with another Best Director nomination. Again, we're going to have to see what Blitz is like, but for right now, I have him in. Ramel Ross for Nickel Boys. I did previously say that Nickel Boys is definitely more of a avant-garde and experimental type directorial achievement, in line with Jonathan Glazer for Zone of Interest. He was nominated last year, of course, because the director's branch kind of goes for that type of vision. Same thing with Ramel Ross, Nickel Boys. Now, he's not really a narrative feature filmmaker. I think this is his first narrative feature film. He's more of a documentary filmmaker, but what he's done with this film has been kind of game-changing, if I'm going to be honest, with a lot of POV shots, a lot of third-person POV shots, first-person perspective, combined with a lot of interesting sound work and score. I've heard it's kind of an artful masterwork. So I feel like the director's branch will go for something like that. So I have him at number 5. Right below Ramel Ross is one Jacques Audiard for Emilia Perez. He could be this year's international director pick, like last year with Justine Triet, with Ryusuke Hamaguchi, Thomas Vinterberg, Bong Joon-ho. I mean, it's been happening. It's been happening, folks. So maybe Jacques Audiard could be the one. Maybe he'll surprise and replace Steve McQueen, like I said. Or maybe even Ramel Ross, or maybe even Denis Villeneuve. But we'll see. The other international director I have listed here is Mohamed Rousseloff for Seed of the Sacred Fig. Going to keep him in the conversation for now. Again, Emilia Perez definitely has more of a shot, but never say never. It's happened before, where another international feature director will get in over another one. Ridley Scott for Gladiator 2. Like I said, Gladiator 2 could surprise us. I hear it's perhaps Ridley Scott's best directorial effort in quite some time, so I have to consider him. Edward Berger for Conclave. He could, sneak in maybe into BAFTA and maybe some precursors here and there. From what I hear, it's kind of a lesser achievement than some of these other films I have said. But I have him listed anyway. Greg Cuidar for Sing Sing. I don't think it's going to happen, but I have him listed anyway. Pedro Almodovar, Clint Eastwood. Outside shots for sure, but I'm going to have them listed. Coralie, I don't know how to say your name, but Coralie, we'll name her Coralie. Director of The Substance. I've heard the direction in The Substance is amazing, and I just kind of threw her at the bottom of the list just because she probably deserves to get nominated for that. Probably won't happen, but I have her listed anyway. And she is the only female director listed here, which is concerning. So, come on, people, make it happen. But she's at the bottom here. So that, ladies and gentlemen, is Best Director. Let us move on. All right, moving on to Best Actress. Here we go. So at number 1, we have Saoirse Ronan for The Outrun. Spoiler alert, I have The Outrun in only one category, and this is the category. I don't know. I mean, she... Not only have I heard that she gives a powerhouse performance in The Outrun, this is kind of shaping up to be her year. She's been campaigning the hell out of this film. She's been going everywhere for this film festival, that film festival, this talk, this interview, that interview. She's all over Twitter. Like, it's kind of her year. She's kind of getting, not really the To Leslie treatment, because, the To Leslie campaign was kind of just like a word of mouth thing, and kind of trying to get celebrities and industry people to kind of get her nominated at the very last minute. We're still in the early season right now, and she's kind of getting this talk from people who have seen The Outrun and people who know what she's capable of and how great of an actress she is. and how overdue she is for an Oscar win. It's really toe-to-toe between Mikey Madison and Honora, which I have at number 2, who is definitely more of a newcomer. She's been around for a little bit, but this is pretty much her big role that has really put her on the map. I mean, she plays Honora in Honora. What else can I say? And it's a Best Picture, probably, a Best Picture frontrunner easily. And she is a standout in the film easily. So why not have her in? Why not have her in? She might even be winning. She's definitely top 3, at least top 3. So I have her in there. Another film I have in, actually a lot of these films here could be single nomination films. Maria, Angelina Jolie, Maria. I've heard mixed things about Maria, regarding Pablo Larraín's filmography. I hear it's kind of the lesser of his films, comparatively to Spencer and Jackie. But I do hear it's beautifully shot, and I hear that Angelina Jolie gives the performance of her career in this one. And we're talking about Jolie here. She's been around the block. She's been nominated before. I think she won, right? Yeah, she won for supporting actress. So this could be her way to come back and be like, Oscar Gold, thank you very much. I've heard she's amazing in this, and she's easily in the top 5. I have Nicole Kidman in Baby Girl here. And I know Baby Girl is more of an erotic thriller, and the Academy typically doesn't like a lot of erotic thrillers. I mean, she won the Volpe Cup for Best Actress. Sure. I know Kaylee Spaney won that award, the Volpe Cup, and was not nominated for an Oscar. Cate Blanchett won it. I mean, the Volpe Cup doesn't really have a one-to-one correlation, but there is some kind of correlation there. But it doesn't mean everything. And, as good as Baby Girl is and as good as Nicole Kidman is, I actually have heard that, the Academy might not connect with Baby Girl's subject matter, and that might turn some voters off, so maybe she'll miss. But I still have her in. Why not? They could go out on a limb and just say, here you go. I mean, she was nominated for being... She's Nicole Kidman. Who are we kidding here? I got her in. Sue me. And at number 5, we have Carla Sofia Gascon from Amelia Perez, who more or less steals the show in that film. And like I said, will be the first trans woman to be nominated in this category. That's a narrative right there. She's good enough in the film. She has a powerful performance and a great narrative. Put her in. Amelia Perez, one of the Best Picture frontrunners. She's in. She's at number 5. But she's in. And then right below the line here, we have Marianne Jean-Baptiste in Hard Truths, Mike Leigh's Hard Truths. Jean-Baptiste was nominated for supporting actress in the 90s. She gives a very visceral performance in Hard Truths, and this could be her vehicle to come back into the conversation as being a former nominee. So I have her at number 6. Amy Adams in Night Bitch, kind of an outside shot. I hear she's great in the film, but it's Night Bitch. I mean, it's not really going to be an Oscars movie really at all. And then she did win the TIFF Tribute Award, which has a very strong correlation to Best Actor and Actress, so I gotta still consider her. She's not in my 5 right now, but I have to still list her here. At number 8, we have Fernanda Torres from I'm Still Here, which is the Brazilian's international feature Submission. I hear she is wonderful in this film. A devastating, heartbreaking performance in a devastating, heartbreaking film. She is the daughter of Fernanda Montenegro, which was nominated for Best Actress for Central Station in 1998. So there's that narrative, so I'm going to keep an eye on her. Tilda Swinton, from what I hear, has the makings of a possible Best Actress nomination for The Room Next Door. Probably more so than Julianne Moore. We all know that they're both getting campaign and lead. So from what I've heard, she is more of the performance that is more prominent in the film and could get nominated. So I have her in the top 10. Not saying it's a surefire thing, but I have her in the top 10. Cynthia Erivo in Wicked, I have at number 10. I've heard through the grapevine that Wicked, number 1, they're making 2 Wicked films. Number 2, the first Wicked film is like 2 hours and 40 minutes, and that's the length of the entire musical. Why are they doing it? Why are they doing it? Number 3, I heard it's pretty good. I've actually heard that the Wicked movie is pretty good. It's coming out, I think, around Christmas time, but test screenings have been going really well. So, Cynthia Erivo, former Oscar nominee. That's why she's number 10. Okay, moving on. Pamela Anderson, I've heard, is great in The Last Showgirl. Don't know a whole lot outside of that, but I have her in just in case. And then Demi Moore in The Substance. I think people are trying to give her a word-of-mouth campaign to possibly get her nominated. She's campaigning the hell out of her performance and out of that film. I think The Substance, as great as it is, I think it really is just a best makeup contender. And then maybe Screenplay or maybe a tech. But Demi Moore, as great as she is in this film, is not the type of performance that gets nominated for an Oscar. It just isn't. So, but I have her listed anyway, just to appease. But she is here. So that, ladies and gentlemen, is Best Actress. Let us move on. All right, Best Actor. Number 1, we have Sir Adrian Brody. My man, coming out of the bushes to deliver yet again a career-defining performance in The Brutalist. As we all know, the youngest actor ever to ever win Best Actor for his role in The Pianist over a decade ago, and he's kind of had a shoddy career ever since then. He's been in kind of a lot of duds over the years. He's been in a lot of Wes Anderson pictures, and he's great in those films. But other than that, he's been kind of like just hanging out, But now, I hear he just gives the performance of his life in this film. I just hear he's incredible, earth-shattering performance. I've heard nothing but incredible things about him, and I've heard that if there's one actor who needs to win an Oscar in this film, it's probably him. And I've heard other people say that Guy Pearce is that actor as well. But for my money, from what I've heard, I think Adrian Brody might have this in the bag. Of course, being a former winner certainly helps. But right behind his coattails is Coleman Domingo, who has been the Best Actor frontrunner for quite some time this early season. Pretty much since Sing Sing premiered at last year's TIFF. He did win the Tribute Award last year, and of course last year he was nominated for a different film, Rustin. So, coming off of that nomination, coming off of the Tribute Award, and of course coming off of his amazing performance in the film, which I've seen, I think he's a surefire nominee for Sing Sing. Now, like I said, Sing Sing is kind of getting lost in the dust a little bit after A24 acquired The Brutalist. And after, of course, it really hasn't been performing well at the box office. But in any case, I just think he has all the makings for a nomination anyway. He's got that narrative. He's very lovable. And he's just a wonderful actor. So he definitely deserves a nomination, if not a win. So I have him at number 2. Ralph Fiennes, I hear, is undeniably great in Conclave. He's a former nominee. It's been, I think, over, almost 3 decades since he's been nominated. Oh yeah, he was nominated for Schindler's List. That's right. Schindler's List in 94 and English Patient in 97. Okay, so he's a 2-time Academy Award nominee, but it's been almost 3 decades since he's been nominated. Let's get him back in there. Come on. This is the one. This performance, I hear, is wonderful. So I have him in the top 5. I will be seeing Conclave soon. I will know for sure. Timothée Chalamet I have in for A Complete Unknown, just because it's have you seen the trailer? Sounds like him. Not only does he kind of look like him, he's cooking. So, the movie might be mid, but, Rustin was mid. There's been a lot of Best Actor and Best Actress nominees from mid films. It's happened. It will happen time and time again. Maybe this is going to be this year's. And maybe The Complete Unknown will be more than mid. Maybe it'll be actually pretty good. But I got to have him in because, yes, he's a former nominee. He hasn't been nominated in a while. And he's been having a great career so far, young career. Maybe this year and last year with Wonka and Dune, and he's been around. He's been around he's been around the block, and the block he's been around is Bleecker Street, and he's cooking on Bleecker Street. So, stop saying cooking, James. So Daniel Craig in Queer. Queer has had a little bit. There's been some developments for Queer. A lot of people are saying that it's really great, that's really good, but it's out there. It's really out there. Luca Guadagnino had kind of made this very kaleidoscopic, very trippy, experimental kind of, somber film, and it doesn't seem like an Oscars player really at all. But the one category that it could very well happen for is Daniel Craig, and Daniel Craig has been overdue for an Oscar nomination for God knows how long. Incredible chameleon of an actor, and I hear he is doing something in this film that he's never really done before. He's just pulling off this character with such confidence, and there's like a deep sadness to this character that he really pulls off very effectively, from what I've heard. So he's not a lock, I don't think, but I think he is doing enough for him to get nominated. Let's just say that. On the cusp right below him is Paul Mescal in Gladiator 2. Paul Mescal was nominated for Aftersun a couple years ago, so he's kind of coming off of that. He's been getting a lot of love in general, and I've heard he gives a great performance in Gladiator 2, And, of course, there's that narrative with Russell Crowe winning for the first film, and, and, of course, back when Gladiator won Best Picture, of course, that was the 2000s Academy Awards, and it was a much different time. I think he could pull off something here. Again, we're just going to have to see how Gladiator 2 performs, and I'm just going to leave it at that. I think he's at number 6. Talked about The Apprentice already. Sebastian Stan, if, depending on what happens in November, if this is going to be campaigned into the ground or not, I think Sebastian Stan is doing enough of a performance to perhaps get nominated, so I'm keeping him on the list. Gabriel LaBelle in Saturday Night, I feel like is an outside shot, but he could be good enough. Maybe he could pull off like a Golden Globe musical or comedy, or maybe even a Critics' Choice nomination. He was wonderful in The Fabelmans, and I think he should have been nominated for that. Yes, Saturday Night is more of like an ensemble film, but Gabriel LaBelle is technically the lead performance as Lorne Michaels, so he might be doing enough, but I'm not sure. I have him listed anyway. Let's move on. Joaquin Phoenix and Joker Folie à Deux. There have been quite a few developments, to say the very least, about Joker Folie à Deux. It's bombing. The reception's pretty bad across the board from both critics and audiences. I took it out of most categories in my predictions. I just don't think it's really going to happen. There could be outside shots and texts here and there, but my confidence is kind of in the toilet for it right now. But nevertheless, I've heard that Joaquin Phoenix is fantastic, despite the film's reception and the film's quality. I heard he's wonderful, and he won for the first film. So why not consider him just a little tiny bit? That's why he's at number 9, but he's still here. It probably won't happen when he's still here. Whatever. I have him in the top 10 right now. If he goose eggs all of the precursors, which he might very well, no. We'll see. We're just gonna have to see. I have him at number 9. We'll see. Joker might be dead, but we'll see. Number 10, Jesse Eisenberg, Real Pain. I'm not really seeing or hearing a lot of buzz for his performance outside of Kieran Culkin's performance. But, he's a former nominee for The Social Network. There's something there. It's his film. He directed it. He wrote it. I've seen the trailer. I've seen both trailers. And from what I see in the trailer, he's doing it, man. This could be one of his best performances. So, I don't know. I kind of have a gut feeling about him. That's why I have him in, albeit at number 10, but he's in. Nicholas Hoult in juror number 2. could surprise us. Again, juror number 2 could surprise us in other categories as well, but I'm just throwing in Nicholas Hoult, the lead performance in juror number 2, into the top 13 here. Sebastian Stan also gives another wonderful performance in A Different Man, which I believe is also a film acquired by A24. But, A24's track record with kind of campaigning multiple films doesn't always go very well, especially if they have a lot of films under their belt, which they do. They have The Brutalist, they have Sing Sing, they have Different Man, and I think they have one other one. Queer. They got Queer. So maybe they will, and I don't know. A Different Man could be campaigning this one. I don't know how the campaign is going for A Different Man. I know that Sebastian Stan and Adam Pearson are kind of making the rounds, the festival rounds, and some talks here and there. We'll see how the campaign kind of shapes up in the mid to late season, but I'm having him in just in case. And finally, why not? I got Tom Hanks in here. Something told me to do it. I don't know what. A gut told me, it was like, hey, you know what? Keep an eye on him. I don't know. I don't know why I'm in here. Here could be not here. And by not here, not good. It could be good. I'm not sure. I don't know. Whatever. Moving on. That's Best Actor. Supporting Actress, Felicity Jones in The Brutalist. I hear she is doing enough to get nominated, if not win. All three top, performances in The Brutalist are worthy of not only being nominated, but winning. So, I don't know. Something is telling me that this could be her time to shine again. She is a former nominee. I believe she won. Does she have an Oscar under her belt? Theory of Everything. Yeah, I forgot about that. Okay, she was nominated for The Theory of Everything. I got her in. I got her winning. It's really between her and Zoe Saldana and Danielle Deadwyler. I hear all three of those films are good enough to secure a win. And in fact, a lot of people are predicting Saldana. I have her at number 2 for whatever reason. But, she could pull something off. Danielle Deadwyler, I hear, is fantastic in The Piano Lesson. And The Piano Lesson, unfortunately, I hear is kind of mid when it comes to the August Wilson adaptations. They're kind of trying to break out of the stage to screen curse, I guess. It just feels more, it just feels like a play trapped inside of a film medium, if that makes any sense. And they were trying to do something with like the supernatural element, maybe the horror elements, and it just doesn't really completely work. But in any case, I hear she is just like a showstopper in The Piano Lesson. So, the Academy, please avenge her Till snub from a couple years ago. Please. She deserves a nomination for this, for sure. Number 4 is Saoirse Ronan in Blitz. We haven't really seen a lot of her in this film, but again, this is kind of her year. The Outrun campaign is kind of helping her, and she might be good enough for a nomination in this film. So Steve McQueen is really talking her performance up in the film. So we'll have to see what she does, but I have her in the top 5 for now. Anjuna Ellis-Taylor was previously nominated for King Richard, and she could get another nomination for Nickel Boys. I hear she gives a wonderful performance in Nickel Boys. She's not in the film very much, but from what presence she has in the film is very much felt. She is a powerhouse of an actress, so I have her in. I just got a feeling that she could probably sneak in. Toni Collette in juror number 2. Keep an eye on her. She's kind of doing a southern twang accent in the trailer. We might have to see more of her. We might have to see more of juror number 2, but I'm just kind of throwing her in just to see where it will go. Selena Gomez, Emilia Perez. She shared the Cannes Best Actress prize with all the other actresses in the film. So, kind of just throwing her in there. She doesn't really have as big of a presence as Zoe Saldana's character, but a double nomination could be possible, especially if the Academy really goes for Emilia Perez. So I'm going to be having her in probably for a lot of the season, unless she like completely drops off in the precursors for whatever reason. But in any case, I have her in. Lady Gaga, Joker, Folie à Deux. Man, poor Lady Gaga. She's a great actress. She's very talented. She isn't really given enough to do in this film, unfortunately. It's very tragic, but she was solidly in the top 5 for a long time before the film came out, and I've heard she's wonderful. She's great in what scenes she is in, but she's not in it enough. She's not really used enough. Her character isn't really taken advantage of nearly enough for her to have enough of a presence in that film to have any shot at getting nominated. I just don't think it's going to happen. I have her listed here anyway, but I don't know. We're just going to see how that goes. Maybe like a Golden Globe nomination, but again, Joker Folie à Deux is just kind of tanking right now, critically, commercially. I don't know. Not a lot of confidence, but she's here. Isabella Rossellini in Conclave. I had her in the top 5 for a while because I heard at first there were some initial rumblings that she is kind of the film's Emily Blunt in Oppenheimer, where she kind of shows up near the end of the film and kind of steals the scene and then she's gone. But from what I've heard, she's just not in the film enough. She's like not even in the film for 5 minutes, which typically is not nearly enough for somebody to get nominated, unless Conclave is like a double-digit nominee or something. I have her listed anyway, but I just doubt it's going to happen. And then Natasha Lyonne and His Three Daughters, I hear gives an incredible performance, but that film kind of had a weird release schedule, and it kind of hasn't been really showing up anywhere, despite her giving a great performance. There were very early rumblings of an Oscars campaign, but I just don't think it's going to happen. I have her listed anyway, but whatever. And then Joan Chen and Dee Dee, who is great. She is great in Dee Dee. But as for an Oscar nomination, it's kind of an outside shot. Dee Dee won Sundance. I don't really see a lot of potential outside of very minor, like, independent film awards. Maybe it'll be a surprise in Surge, but I kind of doubt it. As great as the film is, it just doesn't seem like a film that's going to really go anywhere, unfortunately. But whatever. I have her at the bottom of the list. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is Best Supporting Actress. Let's move on. All right, ladies and gentlemen, Best Supporting Actor. Here we go. At number 1, I have our boy, Kieran Culkin in A Real Pain. This might be a tight race between Kieran Culkin, Guy Pearce, and Clarence Macklin. And maybe even Edward Norton, but we'll see. But I have a feeling about Kieran Culkin. You know, he's coming off of his Succession acting wins. He won a ton of awards for his performance in that show. He's a very widely beloved figure in the industry right now, and he gives a wonderful performance in A Real Pain from what I hear. I will be seeing A Real Pain at the Philly Film Festival here soon, so I will have my opinion on it very soon. But from what I've heard, he's doing everything that he needs to get nominated. People have been buzzing about his performance. It would be a really cool nomination, and it would be an even cooler win for sure. He's so lovable, and he's a wonderful actor. Jesse Eisenberg might push him to his limits. If you see interviews of each other, they're kind of like flicking each other off, and whenever they praise each other, they kind of bust each other's balls. So it'll be an interesting award season in that regard. But yeah, I got a feeling about Culkin, man. I got a feeling. But right behind him is one Guy Pearce in The Brutalist. And I hear he gives a powerhouse performance in that film. So he could very well be number 1. A lot of people are predicting him to win in this category. Could very well happen. But I have him at number 2 for right now. And I will also be seeing The Brutalist at the Philly Film Festival as well. I'm so excited. Clarence Macklin, Sing Sing. Clarence Macklin is fantastic in Sing Sing, and he has one hell of a narrative, being a former member of the program that is being portrayed in Sing Sing. I believe he is one of the producers of the film, so he's kind of trying to kind of push the awards campaign in a way. I will be surprised if he's not nominated. I'll be kind of shocked. And he was the front runner for a while there in the early season, in the preseason. So I still got him in. Again, Sing Sing, you got to start performing at these precursors, man, because my faith is dwindling on you. And I really hope he gets that nomination, because he definitely deserves it. He's great in the movie. Edward Norton in A Complete Unknown. I've heard kind of steals the show in a way. I think it might be one of the standout, if not the standout, in A Complete Unknown. Of course, former nominee. He has been nominated for, I think, a decade or so. And he's kind of, since his nomination for Birdman, his career has been like kind of drifting, I guess, sifting, if you want to call it that. But I think this might be his time for him to kind of come back into the forefront and perhaps get nominated. So I don't see why not. And at number 5, I don't know. I have a feeling about Adam Pearson. I got a feeling about Adam Pearson in A Different Man. Not only does he give a great performance from what I hear, he's hilarious, he's infectious, but as an actor, as a person, he is infectious, and he's such a genuine dude, despite his physical malformation, if you will. It will be good for Academy members and, awards season precursors to kind of recognize him and saying that you're an actor like everyone else, despite, what you have to go against. I feel like that's a good enough campaign for him, and I feel like it might happen, and I feel like it should happen for him. I haven't seen A Different Man, but from what I've seen in the trailer and what I've seen clips of him and interviews, they're really campaigning. He's been around the circuit. He's got Twitter presence. I think something's brewing for him, and that's why I have him at number 5. Maybe that's an outside shot, but I don't know. I got him in. I got him in for now. Right below him, I have Denzel Washington, Gladiator 2. It's Denzel Washington. Who are we kidding? Multiple Oscar winner, multiple nominee. I hear he's wonderful in the film. Don't know too much outside of that, but I'm going to keep an eye on Gladiator 2's performance and his performance and how he performs. Ray Fisher, I hear, is another standout performance in The Piano Lesson over Samuel L. Jackson. In fact, I think Samuel L. Jackson's character and performance was kind of, I guess, it was dwindled down to maybe like a narration voiceover performance instead of like his onstage presence. And I think that was a change that was different for sure from the Broadway production where he was nominated for a Tony. I think a lot of that energy and the story that was being told in that film is kind of on the shoulders of Daniel Deadwyler and maybe Ray Fisher instead of Sammy J. So Sammy J is not here. Ray Fisher is here. I've heard he does enough for a possible Oscar nomination, if not, maybe a precursor here and there, critic circles. So he's at number 7. Jeremy Strong in The Apprentice, I hear, gives a great performance in that film. Again, we'll have to see what The Apprentice does, but he is also another actor who is coming off of the high of the Succession award season, so he is here. Brian Tyree Henry, former surprise nominee for Causeway a couple years ago, could be another surprise nominee for The Fire Inside, which I hear he is wonderful in. So I have him in at number 9. I got the 2 Conclave boys down here, Tucci and Lithgow. I don't think they're doing enough to get a nomination, but I'm going to keep them here anyway. We'll see. Paul Raci in Sing Sing, I don't think is going to happen, but he is a former nominee for Sound of Metal, and maybe the Academy will do some weird shit. Probably not going to happen, but we'll see. And then I got the Challengers boys down here because they both deserve to be nominated, if I'm being honest. And Zendaya actually probably deserves to be nominated as well. But I don't think Challengers is going to be performing as well as it should. I have him down at the bottom of the list just because I want to give him a shout out. That's it, man. Moving on. That is supporting actor. All right, I think we'll do the screenplay categories, and that'll be it for this video. So starting off with adapted screenplay. Sing Sing, I have at number 1. It could very well be Conclave, or it could very well be Amelia Perez, or it could be Sing Sing. Again, I haven't stressed this enough in this video. Sing Sing is hanging on a thread. I hope it gets nominated. It's a good enough screenplay to win, but Conclave is kind of giving a run for its money. I've heard that is a wonderful screenplay. Amelia Perez's screenplay. You know, these are just kind of Best Picture nominees. Dune Part 2, I think, is a quasi-lock after the first one being nominated. Nickel Boys is a very creative adaptation of that novel, so I have that in as well. I got Sing Sing winning. I don't really know why I got Sing Sing winning, if I'm going to be honest. I actually might want to, you know what, we'll do it now. I got to log back into my CMS. Adapted screenplay. We'll swap Conclave and Sing Sing. All right, we've swapped Conclave and Sing Sing. This just makes more sense. Sing Sing, you're hanging on a thread. Conclave, I just feel it's got a better shot. I think the screenplay might be stronger. It has a larger presence than Sing Sing. I mean, honestly, Amelia Perez should probably be number 2 as well. It's kind of a loose category. Not a whole lot of competition in this category comparatively to original screenplay, which we'll get to. But that's my 5. Just look at it. Number 6, Piano Lesson. You know, August Wilson adaptation. Not a surefire thing, but we'll see. Justin Kritzky's adaptation of Queer. As creative and as bold as that adaptation is, again, Queer just doesn't seem like an Oscars movie really at all. I doubt that'll get nominated, but I have it listed anyway. Room Next Door, maybe. Gladiator 2, Outside Shot. Night Bitch, you know, maybe that should be above these other films. I've heard that's a great adaptation, but I don't know. The Wild Robot, I've heard, is a good enough screenplay to get nominated. I'm not completely sold yet until I see the movie, but it is listed here just in case. And then at the bottom of the list we have Khalid Unknown and Hitman. Not expecting them to perform in this category, but being listed anyway. Let's move on. All right, original screenplay. This is really between The Brutalist and Anora, depending on who you have winning Best Picture, who you have winning director, who you have winning editing. The package needs to formulate around these categories. Picture, director, screenplay, editing. Right now, I have The Brutalist winning. It could very well be Anora as well. Maybe, you know, director could go to The Brutalist, to Brady Corbett, and then Anora could win screenplay, or vice versa. It's hard to say right now, but in picture, in director, and honestly in maybe even editing, but especially in screenplay, it's really between those two films. But for right now, I have The Brutalist at 1, Anora at number 2. A Real Pain I have in from Jesse Eisenberg. I think that screenplay is more than enough quality-wise to get nominated. They do like the comedy screenplays, so that is more of a comedic screenplay, as well as Saturday Night. Saturday Night, I hear, is a wonderful, like, Sorkin-esque screenplay that the Academy could go for. So I have that in. And then the international pick, I have Seed of the Sacred Fig. We have Amelia Perez in Adapted, and then we have Seed of the Sacred Fig by Mohamed Rusaloff in Original. So I feel like that could happen. I could also see September 5th happening, depending on how that's campaigned and how well that performs, and if that is the awards player that people are saying it is. Possibly that will probably get in, but I have that at number 6, just barely missing. Blitz I have at number 7 just because it's in Best Picture and it could be a pretty standout screenplay. It could get, you know, the Belfast treatment. Juror number 2, possibly. Hard Truths, I hear the screenplay in that film is very good. Challengers, the other Justin Koritsky's screenplay, I have listed here. A Different Man, The Substance. These are outside shots. I'm just kind of throwing things at the wall at this point. The Substance, The Substance won Best Screenplay at Cannes, but that probably won Screenplay at Cannes just because the Cannes jury wanted to give The Substance something. I heard the screenplay, out of all the aspects of that film, the screenplay doesn't really stand out above the directorial vision and the performances and the bonkers, batshit craziness of the film itself. But I have it listed anyway. Why not? I have a small feeling about I Saw the TV Glow, which is an extremely original trans story that people seem to really love. And in fact, Jane Schunbrunn, the director, has gone on Twitter saying that she kind of wants to get, a word of mouth, like Twitter-based like awards campaign going for it. So I think the one place it has the best shot in, I think, would be original screenplay. I think that makes the most sense to me. Again, albeit I have it at number 13, it's down there, but I have this very small feeling about, when I saw that tweet, I'm like, I don't know, there's a lot of trans people out there that are connecting to this thing, rightfully so, and they could turn this into something. They could. I'm not saying it's going to happen, but I'm saying the potential is there. That's all I'm saying. So I have that listed just in case. His Three Daughters, I don't think it's going to go anywhere, but I have that listed. Kinds of Kindness, I'm just giving a shout out to that film, honestly. Wonderful screenplay. It's weird as shit. That movie's weird as shit. It's not going to perform. Why do I even have it in? But shout out to Kinds of Kindness, man. Anyway, that is original screenplay. So those were all of the above-the-line categories for my Oscar predictions for October 2024. I'm going to be doing the rest of the categories here very soon, and that will be out shortly, but those are the above-the-line categories for now. These predictions will probably be static for perhaps the rest of the month, at least until I see some of these films. I will be seeing Anora, The Brutalist, Nickel Boys, and Blitz, and A Real Pain very soon, and then I will be getting to Emilia Perez, Conclave, Gladiator 2, Wild Robot, these films kind of after I check some of these other films out. But in any case, I'm going to be watching these films and going to be updating my predictions for November. But until then, stay tuned for part 2 of my predictions, and thank you guys so much for watching. As a reminder, please like my videos. Please subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. Follow me on Letterboxd, on Instagram. Go check out my website, OscarGuyHere.com. See my Letterboxd reviews. Listen to my podcast, Oscar Guy Here Podcast, on Spotify, Amazon Music, RSS feed. You can listen to my podcast on my website, watch my videos on my website, look at my predictions on my website here. And then stay tuned for maybe more shorts, but we'll see. More quickie reviews, why not? Whatever. Thanks guys for watching. I'll catch you on the flip. Oscar Guy is out.